Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lawrence Campling, and I'm very happy to be here with you again today to host another Water Wednesday. Our guest presenter this week is James Campbell, and I think he has one of the coolest jobs here at DWR, and that's saying something because there are a lot of really cool jobs at DWR. This month, we've been focusing on people who've made their careers in water resources related fields connected to environmental and human health. And like our previous guests, James arrived at his current position via an interesting and somewhat unusual path. Now, before I turn things over to James, I need to go over the usual reminders about using Zoom. First, please keep your microphones muted to avoid interruptions and distracting noises. And also keep your cameras turned off. If you have questions for James, you can submit them in the chat function, which is the word bubble icon at the bottom of your screen. And if you'd like to read captions, just click on the captions icon. Okay, so now I'll turn things over to this week's guest, geodetics surveyor, James Campbell. James, welcome to Water Wednesday.
Thank you, Lawrence. Like Lawrence said, my name is James Campbell. I'm in the geomatics branch, and I will share my screen here. So yes, I'm lucky enough to have one of the coolest jobs here at DWR. I am in the geomatics branch of the Division of Engineering. Coincidentally, this week, it is the, there we go. It's actually National Surveyors Week. And yesterday was the Global Surveyors Day. So I just wanted to mention it here. Just happened to coincide with my presentation, so it's serendipitous. So some key terms I just wanted to kind of go over with everyone because I didn't want it to be too technical, but there are some technical terms. So just to get everyone familiar, one of them is photogrammetry, and it's a way that we can measure the ground surface using either drones, UAVs, or fixed wing aircraft. Here's one of our drones and one of our field section members, as well as this is how we map the surface. Another one is bathymetry, and it's the measurement of water, the depth of water rather, through water, using sonar and different means. And here's our vessel, as well as what a heat map showing the surface underneath a portion of the state water project, the aqueduct. And here is a LiDAR that was collected of the terrain. And this is actually just millions of points. And LiDAR is a laser sensor that we can use as well. It's a tool for remote sensing. And then a couple more that you may be more familiar with: UAS, which are drones, unmanned aircraft, and our USV, which is our unmanned survey vessel, a remote control boat. So how I arrived at my career? Well, I started actually as a civil engineering major and was hired at a land surveying firm. And I instantly enjoyed going outside and getting to use the different technologies, as well as being placed in some pretty cool spots where I was able to utilize LiDAR at the beginning of the technology. And it may segue me into the career that I have now. But part of that as well is finding those licenses that you want and that you need for your career. And so for me, it was a professional. I had to become licensed professional land surveyor. You have to be one in order to actually to be responsible for photogrammetry. There's both a national and a state-specific exam you have to pass. You have to go get your Part 107 UAS license, which is required from a federal level, but in order to fly all the drones. And then one of the biggest areas or biggest ways that I was able to make it in my career was finding that area, that LiDAR area that I really enjoyed, and then getting good mentors and having them help me along the way and teach me the things that I needed, as well as always being ready to kind of help out, even when maybe you don't know everything or you're not so quite sure, but still trying to help out where you can with those people, and it's recognized, and they definitely want to encourage you and help you along. So if you can help out in areas with those jobs and those people that are already doing that, they'll help move you along as well. why I have one of the coolest jobs for me is I get to play with some really, really cool cutting edge technology. We're very fortunate here at Department of Water Resources and our they recognize that we need these tools. We need to be at the leading edge so that we can properly provide, whether it's monitoring or for design purposes, but all of our different facilities and all the different projects that we have, and we can only do that in an efficient way with these technologies. So I get to play with remote controlled boats and drones and all kinds of neat stuff like that. I work in a mapping lab that's actually pretty neat. It's down at the headquarters in Sacramento, and it has all the historical imagery and big plotters and stereo plotters, which are just these ways that you can view the ground in 3D. It's a pretty neat setup that we have. And then on top of that, we get to explore the whole state, as we are with the Department of Water Resources for the state of California. So we get to go throughout the state. We service more or less the entire state. So before my time here at DWR, I was able to, on the private side, my career has taken me all around the country and all around the world. So we've been able to see some pretty neat things in this career. Then on top of that, to be honest with you, I was a little nervous. My first few days, I started working with my current the people that I work with, and they were all just so intelligent that it made me a little nervous, and I found myself reading a lot of journals to make sure that I wasn't falling behind. But there's some of them there with flying those drones. And one of the things that I do not like is COVID, and not being able to either be out in the field as much, or not being able to work in that lab. So here is some of the drones that we get to use in action. And in our section, we have 3 pilots, which is pretty neat. So we all get to kind of utilize these different drones at different times, and some of them are in some pretty exciting situations, as you can see on that photo on the right. They were first implemented during when the Oroville spillway happened, which was pretty exciting for those pilots at that time. Another purpose that we use them for is inspections, and this is a big thing. This is a pyramid spillway down in LA, which is in the mountains above Los Angeles, and we definitely need to stay on top of that. So we were able to see areas that we wouldn't typically see because of the perspectives of these drones. But as well as different airborne and videography and features that we have, we can use them for not only for mapping and scientific purposes, but also for marketing purposes, and to generate these videos and see things that we typically wouldn't, or we need a fixed wing aircraft, which is also difficult. But what I get to use them primarily for is airborne mapping, and we do that through those principles that I talked about with photogrammetry. And you can see here that's done by taking all these different images and placing them together. And then then we're able to map the ground. And when we map these grounds, we're able to, one of the big reasons that we do it is the valley that is actually moving. People don't think that a lot of these, think the ground's pretty stable, but in reality, it moves quite a bit. And in some instances vertically, and some instances horizontally. So when we take those drones, we can place all those images together in Mosaic and create, this is actually an ortho photo, which is an orthograph. It's actually a scalable image, but we've done this through controlling it. And this is done from thousands and thousands of individual images from the drones. So currently we've been utilizing the DJIs, which I'm sure everyone has seen. They're pretty readily available. They do a great job. But recently we're in the middle of acquiring this BFD. It's an SE8. It's a very large drone. From side to side there is about 8 feet or so. So it's significantly larger than the typical DJI ones that you would see. It's gonna be pretty powerful. On top of that, we need to use different technologies like GPS and GNSS, which is like you would have on your phone or something like that. But we use that same technology from a slightly more precise level, and we can control. When I say control, it means um, to fix these photos to points on the Earth so that we know where they are. And then on top of the drones, we're able to, at least for me, we get to use this USV. This is this catamaran boat. It's a big remote control boat. You would think remote control boats are pretty small, and some of them are, but this one's about 15 feet long. It's a large vessel, and you can see in that photo on the bottom there, that's the sonar as it's collecting along the aqueduct, which is a pretty neat setup that we have. And then on top of the remote control boats, we also have some larger boats, but those are two of the ways that we map the ground. And you can see here, this is what it looks like when those sonar waves are coming back on the ground surface over here on the right. And that's actually under the water surface. So there's two ways that we've done that in the past, and here I'll go back real quick. This is it's called multi-beam. It's when it's essentially just it's a way to collect many returns, as opposed to previously where we call single beam, and essentially it would be one of those points at any given time, and it's not that it's less accurate, but it's just less dense data, so you're not going to see nearly the amount of detail that you would like one on the right. So we're able to see the ground surface underneath a lot of these waterways that we have, like we've never been able to see before, which is showing us lots of things. We're able to more accurately determine whether the ground's moving, but also different the capacity of how much water we can put through for all the different facilities. We've used them in different operations as well as in search and rescue operations, to where I believe this, if I recall, I believe that this is for a underwater vessel, like a hull of a boat, I want to say. It kind of caught me off guard. We've been on a project where we've been mapping the aqueduct, the State Water Project, and we've actually found around a car per mile, which was pretty surprising. I didn't think we'd find that many, but it actually works out to we've mapped about 70 or 80 miles of it, and there's about a car per mile, which I thought was pretty amazing. You wouldn't think that there would be that many, but there definitely is. Another neat technology, and I mentioned earlier, was LiDAR, and we get to primarily use terrestrial LiDAR, which is where we're doing it from these fixed positions. We've also utilized airborne LiDAR, which is when we're doing it from an aircraft, and we've utilized it in many different projects and purposes and all kinds of stuff, whether it's for where the slope, where the earth, for landslides where the ground's moving, you're not able to get to, or for construction purposes, or when the spillway, when that occurred, we're able to map some of these surfaces that we never would have been able to do before, at least not at the detail we have. You can see on that photo on the right, that is a very complex model in order to repeat. So LiDARs, we're able to accurately do things that we weren't able to previously. And this is what the results of these LiDAR individual scans is points that when they're put together. And you can see that, like on that, when you zoom in, that it looks like it's like a solid model, but in reality, it's the return of millions and millions and millions of points. And this is done through lasers, which is another neat technology. So I kind of wanted to give you just a quick idea of like a project, like kind of how it goes, so you can see what all these different tools, when they're all put together. So this is the Sacramento River. So the portion that we were looking to map, and just to kind of give you zoom in. So these are the contours that you may or may not have seen in the past. These are lines of elevation. And as you kind of go through, you can see those same lines, they're actually 3D. And here you can see it in an oblique view, but as we kind of keep going, so this is actually underwater and above water through both the LiDAR and sonar that we put together. And then you can see the ground surface that even though it looks like it's flat when you look at it from above, but it actually represents the surface. I wanted to show you a link of a video that kind of just shows you some of the different models that we've been able to create over time. so each individual one of these are those thousands and thousands of drone images that were put together in order to generate the model. So you can see there was lots and lots and lots of individual photos that were taken. When they're all mosaic together, it looks like one photo, but it's thousands and thousands of them. And from that, we can extract these point clouds that you see here. These are all individual points, though it looks like a model, it's actually individual points. And then from those, we can generate these surface models of the ground. And here you can see there was a spillway, and that's the portion of the spillway that had the issues that we're all familiar with. As it goes along here, sorry. And then one of the neat things that we were able to do utilizing this was to create these models that you see here. And this was actually used with our, I forget which department, but they generated from the 3D printer. And we were able to create a model that's in the headquarters first floor. So if anyone ever happens to be there, here, let me go back, I'll show it again kind of quickly. So that's it there. If anyone's in the first floor of headquarters, when we hopefully reopen after COVID, you can go see it. And that was done from 3D printing from the model that was generated from the drones that we collected. And then an artist here at the department was able to paint that and put the trees and different textures on it to make it more realistic. But that was from a 3D printer. So we've been able to utilize a lot of different kind of neat tools, whether it be drones or 3D printers or LiDAR or all these, these remote control boats using sonar for all these different purposes and projects that we've been able to utilize in service, not only people in our department, but as well as other people throughout the whole state. So I'm very, very lucky that I've been able to find my niche area and the mentors and everyone that has helped me along the way, as well as the department for providing us with all these technologies and seeing the value that we all have. So thank you very much. Josh. Or Lawrence, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Amazing stuff, James. Thank you. The technology is just mind-blowing. I imagine you're always having to learn new technology because it's always evolving, right? Can that be challenging sometimes?
Oh yes, for sure. Like I mentioned before, when I was first hired, I found myself reading journal articles. Like even the technologies that I know are constantly changing. So just staying on top of them it's a continuing struggle, but it's a good struggle because, like I said, we get to some of the things that we're able to do now we would never be able to do without these technologies. So like I say, not only are we fortunate enough to be able to we live in a time where we're able to use them, but we're also in the department and here at the state to where we can, which is huge. But yes, definitely reading like constantly trying to stay up on it.
We've had a few actually. There seems to be a lot of interest in LiDAR, which for myself, of course, we've all heard of radar, but not so much about LiDAR. So do LiDAR and radar really do the same thing?
Yes and no. One's light. Essentially what we utilize, it's a LiDAR is a line of sight based sensor. So all it's really doing is it's sending out in the simplest of terms, a laser, and then it measures the return and the time that it takes to return. So then it can calculate, it determines the distance based on that. And what happens is in LiDAR is it does that not once, but millions and millions and millions of times per second, depending on the sensor. Some ones are hundreds of thousands, but the ones that we use are millions of points. And radar, it's a different sort. It's the one's light and one's a radar wave. So you can use it for similar applications. One of the things that we've been using radar for, it's a little bit more difficult to measure exact position. So instead of determining that exact position based on the return, we can measure the wavelength. So we're able to change. So instead of a true position, we're utilizing it more as like a change from a previous point in time. So like if something was at 1 centimeter, now it's 2 centimeters, not necessarily at 100 feet and now it's like 200 feet, but it's just that change of that's occurred. It's a little bit more difficult to determine some of the actual XY positions with radar. But so I mean, without going into a whole thing, they're similar, but they're just two different remote sensing technologies. But we have been utilizing both, but radar not quite as much as LiDAR.
And with how much of that information are you able to see in real time, or do you have to wait until you get back to the lab and process all the data?
Well, with LiDAR, we typically, if you have a laptop with it, you can see it on the fly, which sometimes we do. It's actually more difficult now in the field when we're going out there to take a laptop with us, because we access, like you were saying in those photos, like at Oroville, you know, you're in some pretty difficult positions as far as like where you're scanning from. So to have a laptop with you is a little bit more of a pain. So in the old days when we were first running them, you had to have a laptop with you. There wasn't like the LCD touch, or there wasn't the touch screens that we have now. So if you have that, you can see them, or if you have a tablet that you can see them on. But so you can't see them in real time, but it doesn't really happen quite as much. On radar, that's all post-processed. It has to be seen in the office. You can't see that on the fly like we can with LiDAR. It's actually kind of neat when you are doing LiDAR, because you can see it as it's collecting. I gave a presentation once where I was scanning and letting it go in the room and nobody knew that it was occurring, and then you showed the model, or you showed all the people sitting there, and they had no idea it was as it was collecting. So it's kind of fun. Makes everybody giggle.
So I imagine, especially the large drone you showed us, these are pretty expensive pieces of equipment. Have you ever crashed or lost a drone?
Well, we've had some flyaway events. I have never crashed one, luckily, fingers crossed. But luckily, these DJIs, they're pretty cost efficient, which is nice. So even if something does occur, it's usually not a very expensive thing. But that new drone that we're getting, that large one, it's significantly more expensive, and we are definitely making sure that there is emergency, things in place so that it, like a parachute, things like that. So if anything does occur, that it's not going to come crash into the earth, because some of those different sensors that get put on there are hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you don't want that hitting the ground from 200 feet. So yes, there will be parachutes on those.
Your boss would not be pleased, I'm sure.
No.
Here's an interesting question: do animals and people show up in the mapping, in the imagery that you're collecting?
Yes, they do. Like I just said, I gave a presentation once with LiDAR. It's very much it's a dumb technology, and what I mean by that is like it doesn't know. If it can see it, it collects it. It doesn't just make any determinations about what it has. The biggest thing is since it is a light, it's really based on the reflectivity of the target. So if you have something that's bright and white, it will reflect, and you'll be able to get a measurement. If there was theoretical black, it would completely absorb the light, and you wouldn't get any return. So really dark things, you may not get as much of a return or as many returns on as you would on light objects. But that's really the only determining factor with LiDAR. And then with the drones, it's same thing. It's a passive sensor as far as it needs sunlight. So it can see whatever, it's just taking pictures, so it can see whatever the light can see, as long as it's not dark time or nighttime, excuse me. And we do have on these new drones that we have thermal cameras though, so we couldn't see at night too. But yeah, it'll collect anything. It doesn't matter.
So how much job, James, is in the field, and how much is in the lab?
Well, for me, we actually have a field section that they do perform. They're out every day throughout the state. I'm in the photogrammetry and 3D mapping, so I do a lot of the modeling side of it. So I'm in the office much more. I do go. As of now, I've been more of like a backup kind of thing for a lot of our field section, because that's what they do every day. So I get to fly kind of like if they're busy on something else, and I'll go out and fly some of the drones, or if we need, for different events. So I get called out for those, but primarily for my specific job as of right now is I'm in the mapping lab. So I'm primarily in the office these days, but I probably get into the field, well, pre-COVID, probably like 10 or 15% of the time.
And are most of the jobs you're doing about infrastructure and structure, and is it possible to say, I mean, you mentioned you also do search and rescue stuff. What's the majority of your work related to?
Well, currently, we've been on this huge project utilizing that remote, that UAV Bathy boat, that catamaran that you saw there. And we've been mapping the whole state water project. And that's been going on since, well, I shouldn't say the whole state. We've been going from basically Clifton Court area, so like where it goes, where it takes out of the delta there, and then all the way down to basically the Tehachapi Mountains, to like Pyramid or so. So
you're looking for and leaks and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of these facilities, or a lot of these different areas that we're seeing, we've never been able to see before. Or we have, there was like on the when I was talking about capacity before, some of the original, when they were originally constructed, they're called as-built, like in engineering plans, and they haven't even. Nobody has any idea what's occurred since like the 1960s or 50s. So it's we're able to see things now that we never have before. Some of those pipes that I was showing you with the where we were utilizing the LiDAR, we're looking for cracks or something on the insides of the pipes to where we might be losing flow, and or where potentially there might be like if a failure ever occurred, we might be able to see some things. But we've never been inside of these things before, these pipes. So like now with these technologies, we're able to go in there and collect this data that we just haven't before. So that's one of the main things, and it's being utilized. The neat thing too is there's not only is there value from that we're able to produce, but everyone across the department is seeing the value of all these different tools. And so it's kind of neat because everyone's finding new ways to use them, even in areas that we may have like not thought about. And you're like, hey, can you do this? And you're like, well, actually, I think I can. So so we're kind of being challenged from some other departments, which is great because there may be in some areas that weren't previously thought of.
It's great. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I mean, I have a lot of questions that we didn't get to. It's such a fascinating field.
Yes.
And we could talk for much longer, I'm sure. But if anybody has other questions, just get in touch with us and we'll try to answer them for you. So I just want to say, thank you, James, for joining us today, and thanks for everyone who joined us online. If you're interested in learning more about DWR, please visit our homepage at water.ca.gov. And if you're a teacher or a parent with kids at home, we have links to numerous kid and teenager appropriate water education resources on our website at water.ca.gov/education. And from there, you can also access our water education materials order page. And all the materials are free to residents of California. DWR's mission is to sustainably manage the water resources of California to benefit the state's people and protect, restore, and enhance the natural and human environments. To stay up to date on what DWR is doing and to find out about upcoming Water Wednesday presentations, please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Now, there won't be a Water Wednesday next week due to the Cesar Chavez holiday, but we'll be back on April 7th. April's presentations will be centered around this year's Earth Day theme, Restore Our Earth. And we'll be featuring several projects that DWR is working on to help restore aquatic environments throughout California. Our first guest is Charlotte Biggs, a program manager in DWR's Division of Multi-Benefits Initiative. Charlotte will be discussing changes to the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta over the past 150 years. And some of the restoration projects DWR is working on there. So that's on April 7th. We hope you can join us then. Until then, have a great week, stay safe, and thanks for watching.